Hi, hello, my name is Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome back to my office. I did a most anticipated for 2024 video for Trad Published, and now we are scooching our way over to doing some indie published. So an important thing to note about this video is going to be much shorter. I think I'm only going to be talking about 5 to 6 books, but I want to talk about them a little bit more in depth. Now, is this like the most comprehensive list that there is? No, but I am still just in the beginning stages of my indie author scenario. I'm going to call it a scenario. So I am still finding new authors, reading new authors, doing my best to put myself out there and see what's going on. So with that, I want to talk about these books a little bit more in depth and go from there. So our first one that I want to talk about is Truthfully Yours by Caden Armstrong. It is to be released on February 6th, and it is an autism romance. So I believe that this one, first of all, it's got the most gorgeous cover. It's absolutely beautiful. So let me just read you like the first portion of this synopsis, because I think that it just encapsulates everything. Charlie did not think things could go this wrong, yet here she is in Scotland, thousands of miles away from home, even after having publicly called out one of the actors of her favorite show for being ableist at a convention. And of course, it went viral. The one silver lining, her best friend signing her up for a work-stay program at an independent bookstore in Scotland, where she'll be able to live in the owner's apartment for the next 3 months. What Charlie does not realize is that she's one good golf club swing away from chaos. So ultimately, this whole thing is she ends up getting a flatmate while she is staying in Scotland, and they end up starting to fall for each other. But I am super excited for this because honestly, I think that this would be like, okay, I wouldn't be super interested in it if it weren't an autism romance, because I believe that the author is autistic. I believe. And that this is going to go into a lot of the tropes and realities of like disrupting a schedule and dealing with change and the struggle of like living with another person as an autistic person. So I love autism romance so much. Hi, I am autistic. So Helen Hoang, the Kiss Quotient series was my first dip into autism romance, and I loved every second of it. I love all 3 of those books in that series. And then in Chloe Liez's series, I believe it's book 6, it's Ziggy's book. That one is an autism romance, and it is perfect to me. It is so I can't remember the title of it. I find my problem with Chloe Liez is that all of her titles just kind of like meld together, so I can't, like, I don't remember the titles of the different books. I only remember like which romance they follow. So that's that problem. But whatever. Chloe Liez got picked up by a publisher who ruined her covers. That's another thing to talk about. Sorry. This looks just so adorable, and it's coming out on February 6th, and I just think that it's going to be incredible and amazing, and I'm really hoping that this is an author that I will be able to continuously pick up. Now, the second book that I want to bring up is technically already out, but it came out, it was like the very end, like the very, very end of 2023. And when I talk about this book, I'm talking about the English translated version. I believe that originally came out in French, so I believe that came out quite a bit sooner. And it is Children of the Sun by Kat Thibault. So I don't have an exact date that it came out, because I feel like I'm getting the dates between like the French release date and the English release date confused. But it's pretty recent. So I actually got an arc of this that I'm super excited to pick up, because she describes this book as enemies to lovers, found family, multiverse fantasy, 3 different couples, queer rep. So this is about Sun, and her entire family is killed, and she has to run away and like wait for her moment to get revenge on the cultists who are ultimately responsible for her family's death. Like, after this whole traumatic event, she ends up finding unlikely allies that are like outcasts in society. There is a debauched vampire, a shapeshifter on the run, a sick goddess, and two soldiers and a witch. And all of that just sounds amazing. So I'm super excited for it. The cover is absolutely stunning in every capacity. And I'm just super excited to pick this up and kind of delve into a little bit, especially because it is a fantasy series. So if it's one that I really like, I can kind of just keep going with it. So I'm super excited for that one, even though technically, is already out. And my timelines are all confused, and that's fine. So the third one I got a copy of because, so the author and I are friends on TikTok, which is just a little bit crazy for me to say. I'm not very good at being in the book community, but I absolutely adore this author. So she is a little bit chaotic and so fun. So she posted something about this book because I had done a small call out for like indie authors that are putting out their books this year in case I wanted to look into them and promote them. And she responded, she kind of told me about this book, and oh my god, I immediately became obsessed. So I expressed my excitement, and she gave me a copy that I cannot wait to delve into, and it is How to Marry a Lich by Lizzie Strong. Oh my god. This cover is everything to me. This feels like a darker kind of vibe of I'm in Love with Mothman by Paige Lavoie. So vibes are definitely there. I'm super excited for this. It comes out on February 23rd of 2024. So I'm planning on reading that before then. I'm super excited for it. It is described as for fans of the Addams Family, Mary Shelley, and Eldritch horror. So it's a monster romance. It's all described as like she has been traipsing through this lich's garden for the past 5 years, like just trying to get some time away, some time to herself. And over this past 5 years, he's like, nah, that's mine. That's totally mine. She doesn't even know it yet. But that right there, that's mine. And it unfolds from there. And this seems like it's just going to be like spicy and chaotic and dark and just fantastic. So I'm super excited to delve into this. I have been wanting to read some of Lizzie's books for so long. So now I actually get to do it. And I just cannot wait. And I cannot wait to be shouting from the rooftops about this book, because it is going to be my monster romance vibe. I love monster romance. Speaking of monster romance, let's get into a book that I just found out is coming out very soon. It's actually coming out on February 21st of 2024. And it is by Opal Reyne. So it is the 6th book in the Duskwalker Bride series, and it is A Soul to Steal. So I just got into the series like super hardcore, and my partner is ordering me all 5 of the books that are currently out, and I just found out that book 6 was coming out in like less than a month. So this one is actually starring like a man named Gideon, and I'm super excited to pick this up. So it says, all Gideon wanted was a friend. After waking up in the afterlife to discover he died, Gideon has nowhere to go. The world around him feels strange, utterly false, and he struggles to let go of the past he was ripped away from. Gideon never expected his new monstrous friend to nibble his way into his heart or give him purpose in death. His wings are soft, his body strong, his skull face oddly compelling, but what point is there in desiring more when their future is meaningless? All Ilarion wanted was his kindred. Having been violently separated from his twin, Ilarion is left behind in Tenebris. Unlikely events lead him into an adventure with a pretty human who entrances him more with every step they take. Gideon is funny yet confusing, and he makes desire sink into Ilarion like a frustrating set of claws. Ilarion's big heart is ready to love, and it's fond of the male he has in his keeping, but things do not always go as promised, even when Ilarion is given the potential to have everything he wants. Will Ilarion be able to keep those important to him close, or will he come to regret the choices he's made? So, if you don't know, Opal Reyne writes the Duskwalker Bride series, and it is all about like a relationship between humans and these duskwalkers who are like creatures between like a goddess and like darkness or something like that. And these creatures, they are born into the world, and then whatever thing they eat first is what their skull kind of morphs into. With each human they consume, they become more human. So it's like building humanity and loneliness and all of that. So it's very complicated, it's very interesting, it's a very, very smutty. It is just fantastic in every capacity, and I am in love with the series as a whole. I am literally only on book 1, but I am already out here like jonesing for book 6. So I need to get on that ASAP. So let's go to something a little bit softer, and that is The Absinthe Underground by Jamie Pacton, which comes out on February 6th of 2024. You can't see it right now, but like over there I have a poster of the cover of this book because it is stunning. Ever since I saw this cover, my brain was just like that. I want that. I want everything about that. And it is a sapphic friends to lovers romantasy, and it is compared to a book that I will not talk about because of the St. Martin's Press boycott and Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. That's all I've really got for this one. Like, I know I said I wanted to talk about these books a little bit more in depth, but honestly, this is the one book where I look at the cover and I'm like, I don't care what this is about. I want that. I want that cover. I want to know what's inside of it. The fact that it's queer makes it a million times better. So I don't know anything about this, but I'm obsessed with this, and this really shows what fantastic cover art can do for an author's story. It's important to invest in your cover art, because then you have suckers like me who are like, oh, a beautiful cover, and it's queer? Gimme, 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 gimme. I am just an example of why you should invest in hiring a fantastic artist to create your cover art. Don't skimp on it. It's worth it. Okay, and then the final book that I want to talk about, I wasn't going to add this on there, but I was like, let me check about this one author to see if she's got anything coming up, because she last year released 50 Feet Down that I am still super, super interested in. It is a sapphic mystery set in Vermont, where like some kids have died. So I've been super interested in that, and I just haven't been able to pick it up yet. I have a really hard time sourcing indie published books sometimes because I have issues with Amazon and getting delivery out here sometimes, and none of my bookstores in town will order indie published books. Like even my small bookstores like won't order indie published. So it kind of just leaves me with Amazon, and I prefer not to do ebooks because I don't like them. I struggle with them like a lot, and they give me really bad headaches. So, especially because I spend a lot of time in my day-to-day life staring at a screen, getting a break and looking at like a book on a page really helps like mitigate that screen time for me. So I haven't picked up that one yet, but she's got another one coming out this summer called The Witch's Dam. There's not an exact date that it's coming out yet, but she hasn't even put a lot of details out into the world yet. So I'm very curious, but she describes it as sapphic enemies to lovers with a cursed witch and lost queen betrayal and dark cottagecore vibes. So I believe that this is all about like a cursed witch who murders a lost queen. And then, like, I believe, like, 200 years later, the queen comes back in a different body and is like, what's up? What's going down? And then the witch has to deal with the consequences of her actions, I believe. So at this point, I am just, like, piling together, like, a TBR of this indie author that I want to read. And I just have not been able to, like, get my hands on one of her books yet. So I will. I definitely will. I will get there eventually. We have talked about all 6 books so far. If you are someone who is more into the indie author scene than I am, and there's something that I am missing from my most anticipated list, especially if it is sapphic or a trans story, please let me know. I want to get into indie more, and I'm definitely like making my way in there. But it's a very slow process. Like, it is a slow and daunting process. So any help that you can offer me, I am happily going to take. So I hope that everyone is having a fantastic day. Rant and rave about your favorite indie authors in the comments below, and I will talk to y'all next time. Bye.